Hey, this is SapphireChao. Hello there, I am in Sega Superstars, and I'm not very used to this. But we're going to try things and do things a little bit differently anyway, and it'll start. We're going to go to the best part of this game, which is obviously the Chao Garden, because why else would you play this game? It's amazing! And yes, I know how this works. I know how this works. You don't need to tell me. Yes. So now, what am I doing here? I am here to answer your questions that you all lovely people have given me. And I have a document with me right now of these questions. Hello. Oh yes, and this is my Chao. Hey. So, let's see if I can... What? I don't want to tell it to go away. What the hell are you doing? What? No, you're doing it wrong. This is what happens when you play with Eyetoy, seriously. Okay. And then back to the loading screen. So, don't mind me, I'm just really awkward at the moment, and I'm not really used to having a camera on my face, especially for videos. So, I might screw things up a bit, so yeah, hopefully you can deal with it. Alright. Why did you cut this out? Because it takes a while. Jeez. Never knew the loading screen would take this long. Okay. I'll make sure I'll stand back a bit, so therefore I don't accidentally hit anything. Alright then. So, we have a pretty long question here, saying that they have a few adult Chao, and one thing they are wondering is the pigment change in the Chao's floating ball. What does that mean for the adult Chao? And is it just a random aesthetic change dependent on the type group you feed your Chao animals or chaos drives? Yes it is. So the Chao, like the ball on top of the Chao's head, see it there, yes, is entirely dependent on the Chao's typing. So while this Chao is watching TV here, and, yep. So I think, for example, neutral run Chao, if they've just newly evolved, they'll always have a green ball. Regardless of whether they're shiny or a jewel or a other random colour, if they're that type, they'll always have the same colour emote ball. Plus, on the second part of this question, you're a girl. Yes. I know a lot of people actually asked that before. Yes, I am a female. I have 2 X chromosomes last time I checked, so don't you worry. Alright then, so the next question is, how do you feel about having a Game Boy Advance and a Game Boy Advance connector, or whatever you need to get for a dual Chao? Yes, the Game Boy Advance has something built in called the Tiny Chao Garden, and that is actually required to get certain dual Chao. So you can get the Gold and Silver Chao with Sonic Adventure DX, but so to get dual Chao, sorry, I'm really not used to this, sorry. I'll show you. I actually do have this. I do have it. Here it is. This is the Game Boy Advance. This is the Game Boy Advance connector. You plug this in, like as you would with a controller. And I'm apparently petting the Chao with this. And yeah. So this is what you use, and of course it automatically downloads into here the Tiny Chao Garden. The dual Chao to pay for it are really expensive, so it does take a while to actually get the right dual Chao, especially Onyx Chao. They're the most expensive. They're like 10,000 rings or something crazy. Let's see. Yes, I do have those requirements. So I do have dual Chao. You might have seen I've got the Emerald Chao, I've got the Sapphire Chao, and I've also got the Ruby Chao. I'll put the pictures of them just on the screen. So yes, I do have all that. And how do I feel about having those? They're not the best peripheral, and mind you, I personally found that the Game Boy Advance wasn't used as much or as extensively with the GameCube, but it could have been better. Shaking the tree. Alright, is there any single way you can get dual Chao for Sonic Adventure 2 on the Xbox 360/PlayStation 3? No. The only single way to actually getting that is by hacking. So they are actually in the memory, and I'm still shaking this tree. They are in the memory of the game, but they are unobtainable. Like, you cannot obtain them in any way, shape or form, which is a bit of a shame because dual Chao are pretty awesome. I would say so myself. The next question, how do you make a two-tone? Well, hang on, let's just go zoom in back to our Chao. This guy, this is your normal coloured Chao. This is in fact a normal two-tone. That's what they're actually called, legitimately. So these are normal two-tone Chao, and so breed these guys with any solid coloured Chao that you find in the black market. So that is how you get a two-tone. However, if you are using the Sonic Adventure 1 remake in the PlayStation 3 Xbox 360 version, you cannot make two-tone Chao in that version. Unfortunately, that version was simplified, so therefore you can't make any of the awesome Chao that you can make in the remake for Sonic Adventure 2 and in the GameCube versions. So it's a bit of a shame, but yes, so that's how you make a two-tone. You need this guy and any solid colour Chao that you get in the black market. And which one is better, two-tones or normal tones? I've sort of already addressed this a little bit. These guys are two-tones as well, but they're just normal coloured. So I would say these guys are pretty cool, because without them you can't make two-tones of the other interesting kind. But in my personal favourite, in my personal experience, I really like the two-tone purple. I've got some really cool results from that, the two-tone purples, as well as two-tone yellow, I would say. And two-tone whites. Despite two-tone whites are probably the most misunderstood Chao ever, because everyone thinks they look like they've got a normal coloured Chao, but it ends up being a two-tone white and things like that. But once they're fully evolved, two-tone whites can look really awesome. Okay, next one is, what does the effects of a Chao getting sick? Well, okay, but the grammar might be a little bit off there, but what are the effects of the Chao getting sick? And P.S. how and why Chaos fart? Alright, well that's an interesting question. Getting sick, for Chao getting sick, I've had a Chao get sick in the past before. It's very rare, but when it does happen, it's a very unique behaviour you find, very unique sounds they make. So if you find anything out of the ordinary that you see that you haven't seen anywhere else, take it to the Chao doctor. It doesn't hurt, and yeah, that's it. I mean, it helps to do that. If the Chao is sick and you leave it like that, and you got Jack in the Box. If the Chao is sick and it's actually left sick, I believe it actually guaranteed to die once it gets too old. So if you leave it sick, it won't reincarnate at all. That's why you got to address it as soon as possible. And how and why Chaos fart? If you give the Chao a skunk animal, they actually learn to do that. So interesting detail, but yeah, that's how that happens. Is there an upper limit to reincarnation? No there isn't. As far as I'm concerned, I've had Chao that have reincarnated like 7 or 8 times. Some of them have reincarnated more than 3 times. I've got like a handful of Chao that have in that category, and I'll be very surprised if there actually was a limit, but I don't think there is at all. So you don't need to worry about that. You just keep reincarnating, and yeah, as long as you've got the time for it, yeah, you can keep going ahead for that. Alright then, over the page. Actually, speaking of which, since I'm on a new page, I'm gonna go to the shops to feed this Chao. I think this Chao's hungry. Well, let's give this a star fruit. I don't think it really does anything. I'll give it a cake as well, why not? Give it everything. Alright then. Alright then, how do you help your Chao to fly, besides having animals to give them powers? I believe none of the animals that you give them actually give your Chao the ability to fly. However, if you have at least 100 points in fly, your Chao is able to fly. So just put them off any ledge, any ledge really. Or even like the edges of the swimming pool. They can sort of fly, but again, it's random when they feel like to do that. And yeah. What else is there? On Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, what animals would you recommend using to level up your Chao stats? Now, you might notice from my video when I was raising my Chao from level 0 to level 99, I sort of already showed that. Off the top of my memory, I believe the Condor, the vulture-looking one, I think that one's pretty easy to find, and that's the best one for fly. For swim. For swim is the otter. The otter is pretty found in Dry Lagoon, and I think in another one. I'm doing off the top of my head. I'm not really. I've only got the questions here, not like a guide on how I'm going to answer these. But yes, for power and run, it's pretty. It depends what's available. Again, I mean, skeleton dogs are obviously probably the best one for just raising run, but again, they're not that easy to come by. So therefore, I would say leopards or warthogs, they're about the same. You find them, as well as the power. gorillas and tigers are probably a bit easier to find than bears. So that's just in my opinion. It entirely depends on what stages you're more well versed at. So for me, Pumpkin Hill is more my thing, and what else? Dry Lagoon and Aquatic Mine, things like that. Okay, so here's some more interesting questions we got here. What are your thoughts about Sonic Boom? And do you support my opinion that there should be a new Chao Garden in Sonic Boom? For me, Sonic Boom gets a thumbs up for me. A Chao Garden in Sonic Boom would get a double thumbs up, seriously. Like, yes. All of my yes. 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 Yes, I'm pitting you. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I really, like, Sonic Boom when I first saw it reminded me of the original Sonic Adventure. Because of all the different characters that Amy is playable, and it has that sort of, I don't think it's going to be directly related to the Sonic universe, but it's still a really interesting take on it, and the more I look at the designs, the more I get used to it, so I'm not too fussed about Knuckles looking like a massive Hulk thing, because I think it's actually more fitting for his character, really. If anything, because, you know, it's kind of weird if he had the same stature as Sonic in the previous games, and yet he's so freaking strong, he'd punch Sonic and not become, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, I don't mind them. They're alright. Alright. Yeah. So, I've got a few other questions here, saying whether or not they'll bring back Chao. So I'll put the questions on the board there. I do want Chao to be back. I wholeheartedly support if Sonic Team brings back the Chao raising system. Look, it's nice to put Chao in as a cameo appearance or for little mini games, like sort of like this one here. But again, there's very limited interaction, and even with Sonic Chronicles, I don't think they did that much either. Alright, so hang on, I need to go on my high horse here. So I have a Chao beanie. I don't think you can see it very well, but I do have one, and I'm going to wear one right now because I want to. And I want to say that how amazing the Chao raising system is, seriously, because the GameCube version, it is just so intricate. I just love the raising system, the amount of uniqueness you can make in your Chao, the customization you can do, and how you raise their stats. It's almost a bit like similar to raising your own Pokemon in a way, and it's really, really good. And how I love the system. It's a brilliant system, and I'm just baffled why it is not continued on. They can just do exactly what they've already got from the GameCube versions, and then just add a few more extra bits and into a new game. It doesn't have to be part of the main game. It just has to be part of the side of the game or the mini game as it has been in the past. Yeah, I mean, seriously, Sonic Teams, Sega, if you're looking at this, we really support this, and it is a brilliant system. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You've already got it there, you've got the resources there, you've got the coding, you can just revamp it a bit, and then it'll just be entirely awesome, because I really believe that the next generation consoles can even bring that level of interaction with Chao and that customization to the next level, and that can be amazing. Really, there is so much potential, and not including and just dismissing that it ever happened, like be a one-man show, is really missed potential. That's what I'm saying, and that's, yes, okay, so that's my high, okay, I'm off my pedestal now. Alright, what else is there? Alright then, so the next question is, if two Chaos get on a train at 3:30 PM and it explodes at 3:45 AM, who was on the train? Also, are you SapphireChao the same? Are you and SapphireChao the same person? Yes. I know you. Well, let's see. If there were two Chao at the train station, and one of them was named Damo, and you got the Ziggy Bud brain where another Chao named Darren might have taken his lighter, and if all you've got to do is now just bring along a giant canister of flammable gas into the equation, and I'm pretty sure something would have exploded. That, or maybe there might have been a Dark Chaos Chao around, and there's trees in the way. If there's a Dark Chaos Chao around and there's a fireball permanently on top of their head, that's always a recipe for disaster, I'm pretty sure. So, who was on the train? Probably a Dark Chaos Chao. If not, it was probably Darren the Chao, who's a complete douchebag. What the hell? Seriously, John? Alright, besides Chaos Chao, which types of Chao would be great in Chao Karate? Well, because Chao Karate, given the nature of Chao Karate, I think Power Chao would also work really, really well. Also, I think Sumo Chao, because they just look ridiculous and it just looks hilarious when you see a really fat Chao just beating the crap out of other Chaos. Yes, that's what I would say against that. Do you have Sonic Adventure 2 Battle on the PlayStation 3? No, I don't. I've only got the GameCube versions. I've never played the Dreamcast versions. I would love to have a Dreamcast, but I don't have one. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the Sega-related consoles. I do have PlayStation 3. Well, actually, no, it's not really mine. It's my brother's, but I don't have any games on that, and I don't think I'm allowed to, so yeah. But if I could, I would get Sonic Adventure 2 on PlayStation 3. What is your favourite skill and why? So, for example, power or speed. I would probably say the run skill, the speed skill is probably the best one because it's really awesome just to have a Chao running around as if they're on steroids in your garden. It's quite hilarious. And also the fact that run is the most the most reliable stat in Chao races. So there's always that. It's the most heavily used. Okay, and I think I might as well give this Chao more stuff to eat. Have some more cake. And have another star fruit. I've got so much money. This is from like me playing this game like years and years ago. Alright then. And we'll move on to the final page. Sorry. Okay. Alright then, how do you feel about the Game Boy Advance Tiny Chao Gardens? Do they help a lot in terms of getting certain Chao? Yes, they do help a lot. In fact, they're the only way to get any dual Chao aside from the gold and silver Chao. They're also helpful in other ways as well. There's actually exclusive fruit that you can get at the Tiny Chao Garden, and those fruits can actually raise, they're similar to the Chao fruit where they raise other stats, so they're like animals in a way. They actually raise some stats and lower some stats, so they can be really helpful. And I believe one of the fruits there is, I think also increases luck or intelligence. I think maybe like that's something called the smart fruit. It might be unobtainable, I don't know. I've heard the smart fruit's unobtainable, but apparently there's a picture of the smart fruit in the manual, and it looks exactly like a certain fruit that you can find in the Tiny Chao Garden. Yes. I think I covered that. And, yeah, they do help. Yes. Next question. Why do I love Chao? Why not? Let's see. Well, I mean, look, I'm actually someone who really enjoyed playing things like the Tamagotchis back when I was really young, and I've always liked caring for things, but maybe sort of in a nurturing way, but also ways like just learning more about the creature, and maybe more in a scientific way, because I'm actually doing environmental science, so I'm like, yo, awesome, like animals and plants and how things work together and interact, and yeah, I mean, I really love that, and I also love it also in video games. I've always enjoyed it, and maybe, I think it's because of the reason why I've enjoyed raising Chao so much is the reason why I maybe got into environmental science. I'm currently in university, for those wondering. Yeah. What's your favourite shiny two-tone and bright Chao colours? Shiny two-tone. Oh, that's like, it's really hard because they're so, like, shiny two-tones and bright Chao are essentially the same Chao, except they look different. So they behave very similarly in a genetic sense. For Bright Chao, I've only looked at a few pictures, but I really like the red Bright Chao and the orange Bright Chao. They look really awesome. And I'll put a few pictures on there. What else is there? The shiny two-tones. Again, I guess depending on what I've got, I really like the shiny. I actually like shiny normal two-tones. Yeah, just the regular colour, because they're actually harder to get, but they also look pretty cool at the same time. Here's another question. Are you going to make a Chao raising Let's Play? The short answer is yes. The long answer is only when I finish my next Chao fact file, which is going to take me forever to do. So yes, I am going to do a genetic Chao fact file, much like similar sort of forgot my words. Similar sort of format as the evolution one I did, which I got a lot of good feedback for that, so I'm going to obviously do one for genetics, but of course I've done the scripting for it. I just have to do all the get the footage and then the editing, which does take a while. My evolution fact file did literally take me 6 months to do, but that was me doing on and off, so it could take me up to 3 months. Anywhere as little as 3 months to freaking, 8 months to do, because it does take a while, unfortunately. So please be patient. I will get to it because I actually I specifically bought a separate memory card just for it as well. So I've got that. And speaking of which, how many Sonic Adventure 2 save files do you have? Because you have tons of Chao. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually got 4 memory cards. 5 if you include the potential Let's Play that will happen sometime in the future. Yeah, so I've got way too many memory cards. I've got them all labelled, so like, this is the one with the Twotones, this is the one with the awesome stats, this is the one with all the extra certain breeds of Chao. Like, I had to do that because otherwise it'd be really hard to track down what I've got, so always have your labels ready. It helps, it does. And finally, how do you know so much about Chao? Well, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle came out in 2002, I believe, and I think early 2003 is when I picked up the game. So I've been playing that Sonic Adventure 2 since 2003, and that's about 11 years, so that's crazy, isn't it? But I really enjoy it when I see other people who weren't, like, maybe not used to GameCube, or they didn't play those games back then and actually picking it up in the remakes. And I absolutely love that when I see, like, more people get involved and see how awesome it is, because it is a great system and it just does things right, like the system of Chao. And I don't know, it's one of those things, like, when you like something so much, you want to learn so much about it. And, you know, I guess that goes with anything, really. If you really enjoy music, you're going to learn about how to play an instrument, like this what Chao's doing. So if you really, yeah, so, you know, and if you want to, you know, play an instrument and master it and, you know, learn so much about it, it's almost just like learning so much about Chao or some other skill in mind. As an example, like, if you're passionate, then, you know, the sky is your limit. And, yeah, so that's one of the things I like to do. Yeah, so I think that pretty much covers most of the questions. I will be doing some questions off screen because I think they require a bit more, maybe more detailed description, explanation things. So I'll see you guys in a moment. Peace out. If I bred my invisible Chao that I got from tons of breeding and bred the invisible Chao I got with another Chao, would its offspring always be another invisible Chao? Or the same as the other Chao that I used to mate with it? That really depends on how you ended up with your invisible Chao in the first place, and it also depends on who you're breeding with. So, invisible Chao, if you don't know, invisible Chao are made through 3 potential colours, through yellow, lime green, or grey. Now we can assume, like all the other translucents and invisibles as well, we can assume a shiny, a jewel, and an appropriate colour gene somewhere in that invisible Chao. Now, you can make many different combinations from your scenario that you've outlined in your question. So you can end up with an invisible Chao, but not always. There's also a chance of getting another dual Chao, a shiny two-tone, a shiny monotone. The possibilities are actually quite broad. What I recommend to you is just test it out. I mean, breeding more invisible Chao is very possible, but it's not 100% guaranteed. If you really want another invisible Chao, try breeding that invisible Chao with a yellow, lime green, or grey colour Chao, preferably a shiny one, to increase your chances. Is there a way to get a normal Chao, like when you start the Chao garden, or do I have to start a new file just to get one? Yes, there are other methods out there where you can get normal coloured two-tone Chao. Apart from the normal eggs that you get in every garden you unlock, you can also just breed 2 normal coloured Chao together, and that can very likely just get an offspring, which is, again, a normal colour Chao. Alternatively, breeding a normal two-tone with a colour two-tone can also give you a chance of getting another normal two-tone offspring. There is a 25% chance success rate for that. Be prepared to have multiple tries at it, but that's another option. If you actually happen to have a Game Boy Advance handy with you, any Tiny Chao garden that has no Chao present will actually have a free normal Chao egg available to buy at the black market. How long does it take for a Chao to get into its mating season after it evolves? The time taken actually varies greatly amongst individual Chao, but I am aware that there is a hidden mating value, or mating meter, I guess you could say, for each Chao that gradually increases with time. This value is separate to the Chao's age. Once this mating value reaches its maximum point, flowers will pop up. Once the Chao is mated, this mating value reverts back to 0. And any Chao that are past halfway on this mating meter have the capacity to breed. Feeding heart fruits to your Chao will immediately max out the Chao's mating value. And since it's really difficult to gauge where your Chao is on this mating meter, because it is a hidden value, I find it's really just helpful just to give the Chao that you want to breed, give each Chao a heart fruit just in case. My Chao knew pretty much everything to know in the kindergarten, then it reincarnated and it doesn't know anything. But when I take it to the classroom, it says it already knows it. When you mean your Chao doesn't know anything, are you referring to just what your Chao has previously learned at the kindergarten, or are you referring to its Chao's intelligence level? Because they're kind of two different things. Everything learnt in the Chao kindergarten is retained after reincarnation. Your Chao just maybe hasn't been using the lessons after it reincarnated, but it still knows the lessons and it can still use them, but they'll just do it randomly, as they always do. On the other hand, Chao luck and intelligence are separate hidden values that do reset after reincarnation, like all the other stats. Okay, this one has a few questions in this one, but they sort of tie in with each other. Okay, 1. What are the statistical purposes of shaped fruits, circle, square and triangle, outside of being a Chao's favourite food? Does it play in any factor in a Chao's hidden stats, such as luck and intelligence? 2. Does feeding a Chao its favourite fruit have any advantages, other than that they won't throw it away? Number 3. What is the purpose of the mushroom? Does it affect any hidden values? Firstly, shaped fruits do not impact Chao that much, apart from whether or not they'll actually accept the fruit. 2. There may be some chance of increasing happiness at a slightly faster rate, with the concept of favourite fruit in mind. But nothing has really been documented on any distinct advantages. I'd be surprised if there were any, but I highly doubt it. 3. Mushrooms are slightly more efficient in raising stamina than your usual fruit, but there have been some evidence to suggest that mushrooms increase a Chao's luck. But measuring luck and intelligence is very difficult without a way to look into the game's coding. Now this next question I'm probably just going to paraphrase, but it is referring to whether or not animals escape from the garden in both Sonic Adventure DX and in Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And about the black market blocking a certain colour set of eggs. So, for the first part of the question, animals can disappear from gardens, usually to make room for the new items that you're introducing. So if you come back to a garden with some more items, such as drives or animals, fruit, hats, anything really, the chances are that they'll be replaced. If I remember correctly, about 60 items are allowed to be in the Sonic Adventure 2 Battle gardens at once, and I think about half of that is allowed in Sonic Adventure DX. Additionally, animals can also time out after a while if you're doing the reuse animal glitch, which may prevent their use and also may disappear while you're in the garden. However, this occurrence is relatively rare though. In my experience, I find that every Chao save file has about 3 random egg colours that are near impossible to obtain. Certain egg colours are more readily available than others depending on your file. Also, certain eggs are unlocked differently in a different order depending on the emblems you have as well. So for example, one Chao save file might not have red eggs available, but on another memory card in another save file, red eggs can be found, but in that save file you can't seem to find sky blue eggs. And it is the Chao Garden file that determines the eggs you can find, not the Sonic Adventure file. For this next question, I think I might paraphrase this one as well. So this person tried to make a Chaos Chao, had reincarnated twice, given 21 animals, no extras, and no chaos drives. Was also treated very well by the looks of things, a lot of petting, and when he evolved, it turned into a plain neutral Chao. He was able to get him into a Chaos Chao in his next life, and would like to know why he didn't evolve into the Chaos Chao the first time round. So, if you were going through the Chaos Chao process, and it did not work, and your Chao ended up becoming a normal type, the following might have been the problem. So it's always good to check back on the process that you were taking. So first up, did your Chao reincarnate at least twice? It's always good to check at the medical chart if you've got Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but in Sonic Adventure DX you might have to keep track of that yourself, which can be tricky. So if it has not reincarnated 2 or more times, there will be no chance of a Chaos Chao. 2. Did you miss giving an animal? I know some people have actually forgotten to give 1 or 2 animals to their Chao and that actually throws them off, so checklists are always handy. 3. Was it happy enough? This is probably another really big factor, and this factor could have been determined by multiple things. So if a Chao is left in the garden to evolve into a Chaos Chao for a very long period of time, there could be A. a limited food source, B. the Chao can't swim and is left drowning, or C. someone might have came into the room and abused it. I don't know, that happens with siblings. It's not out of the realm of impossibility, but it can happen. So whether there's any form of abuse, intentionally or unintentionally, happiness will decline and it might not be enough to become a Chaos Chao. I know these are just some of the main factors for the Chaos Chao process. From your description, it suggests you've covered everything, so I don't know your exact situation that may have altered something and may have prevented your Chao from becoming a Chaos Chao. So that's about as much as I can cover from what I know from your scenario. But from the looks of things, you've already managed to get that Chao into a Chaos Chao, so congratulations, and all the very best. And another thing to Sega and Sonic Team. You do realise that the Chao Garden increases the game's playability by 1,000-fold, and is the reason why people still play the games? Didn't think of that, did you? Maybe. I don't know. But seriously, consider it. Consider a Chao Garden, and if you include a Chao Garden, chances are your sales might increase, perhaps. So think of it on an economic perspective that it may benefit you in some way, shape or form. Okay, that's all. This has been SapphireChao, aka SapphireChao. Over and out.